Well, hello again, and welcome back to the Sound Legacy Podcast. I'm Andrew Couch, your host. That guy over there is Paul Shelton. He is my business partner, editor, filmmaker. Boy genius. Look at him over there, just working. Hi, welcome. Did I say welcome? Well, you are welcome. Today's guest is Stacey Tunteri. Stacey is a life and legacy organizer. She is extremely thoughtful, very charismatic, and very good at what she does. She's going to explain what a life and legacy organizer is, but she's essentially doing that very thing that the name implies, helping people get organized. And you would be surprised how much in your life is disorganized, specifically after you're gone. What happens when you're no longer here to handle the business that you handle on a daily basis? Who takes over that responsibility? Stacey very much cares about that and comes at it from a very informed, both emotionally and practically place that is, it's unique. And she's extremely helpful to the people who take on her services. StaceyTunteri.com, StaceyTunteri.com. Please check her out. And we're pleased to have her as a friend and collaborator. Hopefully we'll be working closely with her in the future. Anyhow, we had a great chat, and you'll hear about her personal story and why she's in the business that she's in, and I think it's a really good fit. So yeah, hope you're doing well out there. If you've got any questions for us, you want to know more about what we do, helping people preserve their stories, helping people share what they've learned in their life. That's us. We're doing it through podcast-style interviews, much like what you're about to watch. We do audiobooks. We make documentary films about people's lives. Yeah, we're passionate about it. We love what we do, and we'd love to share that with you. So visit mysoundlegacy.com to learn more. Send us a note. Tell us what you think of this program. And if there's any way we can help you tell your story, we're interested. All right, until next time, enjoy this conversation with Stacey. We'll see you later. Thank you very much, Stacey. I'm very glad that you drove across at least one, if not two bridges to get here.
Just the one.
Just the one bridge?
I would have done two, though.
Oh, we're a two-bridge show.
That's right.
That's good to know. Stacey Tunteri, your business has your name.
Sure does. Stacey Tunteri, LLC.
LLC.
Very exotic.
I even double-checked before. I was like, wait, does she have a name for her business? It's just her name.
Just my name.
So you're just going to be synonymous with legacy planning and life organizing?
Yes.
How would you put what you do?
I like to say life and legacy organizing. Okay. The life part is just whatever daily technology friction you're experiencing that's irritating and stealing your joy can help you with that. And then the legacy piece kind of includes that other stuff as well, but it's more with an eye toward the end, which is, okay, as long as you're getting your life organized, let's make sure that it's organized in such a way that if something happens to you, somebody else can seamlessly take it over.
Right.
I mean, not like pretend to be you, but close down your accounts and do all the stuff they need to do. Yeah.
Someone at least has access to the joystick that you've left behind. And I think it's always important to recognize that it's not just like something that you're doing specifically for the geriatric community or for older adults or for anyone even over 50.
Yep.
Like, there's no point in your life where it's not a bad idea to do this, basically.
Yeah, I came across a stat recently that said that the cohort most likely to not have a will is the folks with minor children, which is awful if you think about it. So I don't recommend that people wait until they're retired or until they're, in their 60s or 70s to start this process, because by then you have a big mess to clean up and it takes longer and it's a heavier lift. If you start when you're young and just put some good life planning hygiene in place, it's a thing that you can build on slowly over time, and it just becomes part of how you do life instead of this one big project that you have to stress over. And that
either you have to stress over or everyone else in the aggregate has to stress over.
Yeah.
So we'll get there. I want to, we'll circle back to your job because I think it's obviously, I like you. I think you're interesting and charming, but it is kind of what I wanted to talk to you about broadly. But your story, when I was like, hey, just tell me a little bit about your life. And when you sent me the facts of your life, it's like, oh my God, This lady has a hell of a story. So I want to get there. You are a Michigander.
Yes, sir.
I'm sort of like a one-off from a Michigander. My dad was a guy from Flint.
Well, yeah, so that counts.
So yeah, we know about poverty and misery. But you are not originally from San Francisco Bay Area. You came out here in a way, I don't know how common your story is. I can't imagine it's terribly common, but
I've never heard one like it.
Yeah, I haven't either. So do you mind, we can just go. You can just start as early as you'd like in your life. But your story, I think, clearly makes you the absolute right person to do your job.
Yeah, I had so going all the way back to Michigan. So my family is interesting. It's blended family. So my parents split when I was little. Wow, I went all the way back.
Perfect.
They each got remarried. And so when my dad remarried, his second wife already had 2 little girls. One was my age and one was a year younger. And we were like 2, 3, and 4, somewhere in that age when the families got together. So I just always knew these girls as my sister. My dad adopted them, so we all had the same last name. So it was very seamless and easy, and we just were like, we're a family. And so that was that household. And then the other household, my mom, when she got remarried, had another girl. So I have all these siblings in 2 different houses. And my sister Christina, who is my age, we were 2 weeks apart, and we used to joke that we were twins just to mess with people because she was like a foot taller than me. I lived with my mom until I was 14. Then I moved in with my dad for high school. So through high school, it was me and my 2 sisters, all more or less the same age. And Christina and I were, because we had the same last name and we were in the same grade, all through high school, they did everything alphabetical order. So we weren't just living together, like we had our lockers right next to each other. In the classes that we had together, we were sitting next to each other. It was a lot of togetherness. Mm-hmm. And we were either so in love with each other and besties, or we were not speaking for weeks at a time because we were just irritating each other and needed a break. But that was kind of like, she definitely was my best friend. So we went to college together. But she started to have some issues, I would say around age 16, where there's one suicide attempt when we were sophomores in high school. And then, it was kind of like back then in the 90s, like we just don't talk about these things. We didn't really tell the community what was happening. We didn't really feel comfortable telling many of our friends. And so it was kind of like this private family secret that weighed heavily. I think it also made it harder for Christina to get the support that she needed, right. Certainly. So we go off to college, and within like a week or 2 after we started our freshman year, she's in the hospital, got another suicide attempt. And then we were like, 8 hours away from the rest of our family. So it's just me there in the hospital room, like cussing her out. Cause like, why do you keep doing this? Like it's, why are you doing this to me? Cause it was, impacting my life. But it was very difficult to see her struggle like that. And over the course of the next, would have been 18 then, the next 9 years, there were a couple of other attempts. There were some questionable things that she did where I was like, I think that that's where she was going with it, but just risky behavior. Mm-hmm. And she pulled back at the last second. So, this was a situation that I don't think it was a cry for help. It became pretty clear that that's probably like we were going to lose her at some point. But still, like, you're not prepared for it. So when we were 27, this was in 2003, she did, in fact, take her own life. And she was in San Francisco at the time. She and my younger sister, Emily, were living together out here. They were roommates. And I was still back in Michigan. So the whole family, it was just all hands on deck. Like all the family from wherever we lived just came to San Francisco. And Christina had been dating somebody at the time for about 6 months. And he just put all of us up in his house and was like, I have enough space. We'll do mattresses on the floor, like whatever we got to do. Everybody stay here. He took care of the funeral arrangements. He just, he fed us. Like just handled everything so we didn't have to, but he shouldn't have had to either. But anyway, so he and I got to know him that week. 4 months later, my stepmom and I decided to come back out and visit Emily, check on her and see how she's doing. So we came out and, we stayed in contact with Jesse, and he was like, why don't you guys stay at my place? Because Emily she had a new roommate and not very much space. And he's like, you guys can all stay here. I got room. So we did. And he was lovely, and he totally spoiled us. He wined and dined us and hung out with us. And I was still on, 3-hour time difference. So I was staying up later. My mom and Emily go to bed, and I'd stay up watching movies with Jesse. And that happened like 5 nights in a row. And by the time I went back home, I just remember landing in Detroit, and there was a voicemail on my cell phone, and I was like, oh, I hope it's him. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
Why? Oh, crap. Like, what is going on here? So we had several phone calls, and it just like became clear that there was a thing, and we had to talk about it. So we ended up doing long distance dating for about 3 months, and I was doing social work in Detroit at the time. It was very soul crushing work. And he was like, do you want to move to San Francisco? And I was like, I think before he finished the sentence, I was just like, yep, let's do this. Wow. And they always say, like, when you're grieving is the time to not make any sweeping life changes. Like, you don't get a new job, move across the country, leave all your friends and family and your entire social network and your whole safety net and go learn everything from scratch brand new. Like, that's not a thing that you should do when you're grieving. That's what I did. So I got to San Francisco, and it was hard. It was hard for us, like, constantly checking in with, what is our motivation for doing this? Are we coming at this from a good place? Is this okay? Like, this is weird. So that, and me still, like, both of us still grieving.
Right.
I had never lived in a city bigger than, I spent some time in Detroit, but Detroit is not the same as living in like a really densely populated city like San Francisco. And never taken public transportation. I can't find my way out of a wet paper bag without directions. And this is before we all had GPS in our pocket. So when I got here, I was lost 100% of the time. Right. I would just leave the house sometimes and not come back for 6 hours, and he'd just be like, I don't know where she is. And I didn't really have the ability to talk to him. So it was stressful. Mm-hmm. It was very stressful. But I'm glad I did it, because this has just been, I've had to learn how to be in a city and meet new people and put myself out there and take big risks and be afraid all the time.
Right.
And I kind of have been ever since. I just don't mind it anymore. I'm just like, well, it's a day that ends in Y. That's how it is.
That's how it is.
Yeah.
Were you helping settle your sister's affairs, like after her
she
passing?
Didn't have, so in this case, she didn't really have much in the way of affairs. I mean, we were 27 when that happened. Right. Yeah. She lived in an apartment. She had some furniture. My parents ended up with all of it, so their house got really crowded. And other than that, it was just like books and clothes and stuff. And I don't even remember what we did with all that stuff.
Before everyone had 1,500 passwords and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. That is like the one thing, like, things were simpler then.
Yeah. Isn't that just the wildest thing? Like, if you could explain to your sister now, no, actually.
She'd be so shocked.
In the name of convenience, we've made it very difficult to find stuff if you're not home. Yeah. So you end up out here. You've got a new partner, and that's your partner today. You guys got married, and you've been together since.
Yeah, and I was like, I'll move to San Francisco and we'll try this thing. I didn't really actually know if it was going to work.
Life. Yeah, amazing.
I felt sometimes when you get a question, the answer doesn't actually feel like a choice because it's a knowing. That was one of those. It was like, he asked, and the only possible option was, yeah.
Say more about that, the knowing. What do you mean?
I think when people get twisted about intuition, like, I don't know what my intuition is. It's never talked to me. And I bet you, if you really sit and think about it, there have been these key little Polaroid snapshots, moments in your life when you were at a crossroads or you had a decision to make, and it just seems like a choice, but it doesn't feel like one. It feels like the only possible answer is yes.
Right. If you try to picture yourself saying no, you feel that feeling of what am I going to miss?
Oh, exactly.
Yeah.
Like if I say no, I will have regrets for the rest of my life,
right.
and I won't be able to live with it.
That's funny. He was sneezing while you were talking about that. That's I had that very same feeling when he came into our lives. We were not planning on having a dog. We were about to take a very long journey. We were still sad about having lost our previous dog. She was, 16 years old. And anyhow, we both just were resisting it. But anytime I would look at a solid no, I felt that same feeling, kind of a knowing. Like, okay, you know where this is heading. Maybe we just resist and finally, like, okay.
Yeah.
And now here, I wouldn't want my life without him, It would have been so different. So, yeah, you found a way of knowing. You've learned a little bit about yourself, I would imagine, what it's like to listen to yourself, especially at that age. I mean, 27, you always hear that, oh, God, that's so young, but boy, that's really young. You don't know anything. No offense to 27-year-olds.
No, I didn't know anything.
You don't know. You feel like you know. And that's the problem. You feel like you know. Now here, and I don't know how old you are, but in my 40s, I'm a lot more certain that I know nothing.
Oh, yeah. And I think that's the responsible answer, because if you think you know everything...
Yeah, you're in trouble.
You're in big trouble.
All right, so you're 27, you're here, start making a life, and you've had a lot of different occupations. You've done many, many things. Give me sort of a snapshot of what you've been up to since being out here.
I decided I was done with social work and anything related to psychology. So I just went to a temp agency. Actually, Jesse's ex-girlfriend's mom worked for a temp agency. And because he is who he is, he continued to stay in touch with the girlfriend and his entire family, because he tends to get adopted everywhere he goes.
That's great.
So I got into a temp agency and they were like, what do you want to do? And I was like, I don't know. So I guess I don't really care. Just a job. Like that's my criteria. Okay. So I took the typing test and I did all the stuff, and they were like, executive assistant for a healthcare organization. And I was like, sure. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of funny because my mom had been an administrative assistant in the Michigan Corrections Department. I might be getting the name of that wrong, but she worked in Michigan government for her entire career as a secretary. And the big joke was, I'm so glad I went to get a master's degree so I could end up in the exact same profession as my mom.
Right. Could have stayed home for that.
Right. But because I had moved from Michigan to California, my salary almost doubled.
Right.
So I went from having this professional career that required a master's degree. I mean, like the kind of master's degree that was basically 7 years of school to almost double my salary as a executive assistant here. And I was like,
okay,
cool. So I did that for a while. I did well. I got promoted. I ended up in a position ultimately many years later where I guess I would describe it as like a junior chief of staff role. That's probably makes the most sense to the most people. That's what I was doing when I decided to drop out of the workworkforce.
But but that role, any type of like administrative assistant,
so organized.
You are having to be yourself extremely organized, but also helping someone who's extremely busy, has many things coming in, and lots of things expected to come out.
Yeah, my dad used to make fun of me when I was a kid. Like one day we were chatting and I was putting laundry away and I opened the drawer and he was like, "Can I swear?"
You can say whatever you like.
Jesus Christ, you file your underwear.
You file your underwear?
Yes, I do. I was doing the Marie Kondo method before, like 20 years before I had ever seen her do anything. That's just how I do things.
The Marie Kondo, that's a thing? Who is
yes. It? Marie Kondo is, she has her own Netflix special based on a book that she wrote. She's a Japanese woman who has this entire methodology for decluttering and organizing your household goods.
And her last name is Kondo?
Yeah, Kondo.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, man, like that's even the most organized of housing.
I know.
The condos are like...
I never thought about
basically shelves, but it doesn't work. Condo. Never mind. I say that as a guy whose last name is literally Couch. So I have licensed to check on last names from time to time.
Good point.
But sorry. So you were doing the Marie Kondo method as a child.
Yeah. I've always been pretty tidy and well organized and very detail oriented and the kind of person like, I'm going to give you way more detail than you could possibly ever want or need.
Does it stress you out when things are not organized, or are you able to compartmentalize?
For the most part, I can compartmentalize. Like when I walk into somebody else's home and it is not tidy, I definitely feel like it's loud in there.
Yeah.
Almost like you're at a concert or something. It's just like
there's
a
a
lot
noise
competing for my attention. But aside from that, I'm like, but it's not my mess and it's not my space, and therefore it's fine.
So you're able to file that.
Yeah.
That's just how organized you are, that you can just file someone else's discombobulation. Right.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to make the case for why we're going to lay out why you're the right person for this job.
I ended up here.
Yeah. All right. So you decide, how many years ago was this that you decided to leave the healthcare space?
This was in then pandemic happened, ended up going back for a couple of years. So I left it for good in 2022.
Okay. I feel like as soon as you go to drink that tea, I'm going to finish my question so that you don't ever it goes totally cold. But because it's relatively recent, 3 years you've been at this.
Yeah.
And when you left healthcare, were you like, okay, I'm going to help people get organized, or what was your thinking?
No, I was just tired and I needed a break. Honestly, I wasn't thinking any further ahead than that. I thought, I'm not getting what I need where I am. I knew that probably for about a year that I was going to do this. So I stopped spending money. I changed a lot of my lifestyle behaviors to be able to stockpile money in a savings account. So I'd have enough cushion to just not have to worry about it for a while.
Nice.
And that was good that I did that, because I did really well. But it's when I left, I thought I'm just gonna like take a nap for a few months, take care of a lot of deferred maintenance projects in my own house, and then probably go back to doing the exact same thing, because I didn't know what else I could do. And I think a lot of people feel that way. It's like hard to even give yourself permission to dream, because if you've never done something before, even if your heart is like, but I want to, or worse yet, in my case, my heart didn't say diddly squat. Like I did not know what I wanted to do.
But there was a point, we're skipping something, because there was a point when another tragedy befell your family.
Yeah. So
when was this? That was
in 2015 is when my dad and stepmom, who were by then living in Idaho outside of Boise, they had a house fire. They were actually on vacation with me and my husband in Scotland, and they left. So they flew to San Francisco, and then we flew to Scotland together, came back to SFO, and they were going to go back to Boise the following day. That's the night my brother called and was like, your house burned down.
Oh, my God.
Because he was living with them at the time. He
What
had
happened?
gone out to grab something from the grocery store and came back, and there was a fire crew putting the flames out.
So they don't know what started the fire?
They do. It was a cable box that shorted inside of a wooden cabinet.
Oh, my God.
Like, they're not in a fire zone. They're not in any place where you'd expect a natural disaster.
Yeah.
They just a random thing happened. And nobody was home, so nobody got hurt, although they did lose a cat.
Oh.
I know. But they had sprinklers in their house. Most of the other homes in the neighborhood didn't. Theirs did for some reason, but that's what caused most of the damage. So the fire got put out pretty fast, but everything was wet, so they had to basically take it down to the studs and rebuild it.
Oh, my God.
So.
Wow. Okay, so that's 2015.
Yeah.
And so you witnessed what that meant, like that calamity, that devastation, and you got to see your dad and stepmom go through.
Yeah, and she was sick with cancer at the time that happened. So the Scotland thing was kind of a bucket list trip. Like, we didn't know how much longer we were even going to have her with us. She was feeling pretty good at that point, but, the cancer was terminal, and she was kind of maintaining with some clinical trials, kind of one after the other, to keep her going. And so she was okay, but not great, and that did not help. That happened, and they did not have a home inventory, so they weren't totally sure all of what they lost. I mean, they lost a lot of vital documents, photos, irreplaceable things, but even just the basics, like their clothing and some of the things they needed to replace, they're like, I don't even we don't even know exactly what's missing. So it was interesting being made whole from their insurance company because there were some gaps there, and they had to relocate for 6 months, 6 or 8 months, while the house was being rebuilt and all the stuff was at the restoration company. And then when it's time for them to move back in, my sister and I flew back up there to help them. We were both living in California. And when the restoration company brought all their stuff, it's like we were opening box after box where there'd be like stuff from 3 different rooms in the house in one box.
Right.
So we couldn't just have them like put it where it went. They just dumped everything in one room and we just ran it around the house until everything was where it went. It was the worst case scenario for a move-in that you've ever seen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right, we've laid out at least a significant portion of the tragedies. Well, there's more to come. There's more to come.
But wait, there's more.
But wait, yeah. But so the reason I'm getting at this is I'd read something that you wrote yesterday. I don't know when you published that, but you have a Substack. What's the name? Is it also just your name?
It is called Letters to Future You.
Yes, which I quite like. And you wrote a particularly good one that when you mentioned a knowing, that's why I wanted you to kind of explain that, because what I read was something that came from a very deep knowing. Like you wrote an unloved letter.
Yeah.
Unloved letter. That it was definitely clearly to a future person. The opening line was, "If you're reading this, it's because I'm dead." And then just lay out this case. You wrote it from a character who just did not give a shit what happened to all their stuff, and like laying out the case for what happens when, like, well, I'm dead and you got to deal with this. Good luck.
Yeah.
That came from, when I say the knowing, like, it's not entirely sarcastic, although it is delightfully so, but it's written from a perspective of someone who's actually lived some of those things.
Yeah.
Did you experience that? I don't know if I'm clearly bearing the lead here. Your stepmother eventually passes from the cancer.
Yeah.
Was that sort of the case after that as well?
And I hope if anybody reads it, really, it's important to understand that I realize people don't do this on purpose.
Of course not.
Of course, right?
Yeah.
Nobody would do this on purpose. But yeah, she passed away, I don't know, like within 6 months after they moved back into their house. And she was just one of those folks who was going to beat the cancer. She was going to. Like, you could not have a conversation with her about how she wanted to be memorialized, where the passwords were. She was not having it. And I get that, and I deeply respect the fight. But, I also feel like, all right, you beat cancer. You're not going to live forever, though. Like, this still has to be a conversation that is had at some point. Like, none of us are going to live forever. So you got to have this conversation. So she waited until her cancer metastasized. It got into her brain. Nobody knew how fast she was going to go. There was no time for a handoff. So she had taken care of all the bill pay. She did everything online. And my dad did not have access to any passwords. He didn't know how to pay his own bills. He didn't really know how to keep his household running from an administrative standpoint because she had done it all. So, here he is, partner and best friend of 40 years.
Man.
Has very few friends. He's up there by himself because my sister and I are here. My brother was still there at the time. But it was very traumatic for him to have to figure all of that out under those circumstances.
Right.
And my sister and I did a lot of helping him with that. I attempted to set him up with a password manager at some point. He never used it. So I'm afraid to say he did not learn much from this experience because he's probably going to leave us in the same boat when he goes. We'll see. I'm working on him.
But there's so much in that. Like, the thing that I really appreciated about your letter was that it wasn't just, I know it was written from an extremely, like someone who drank a whole gallon of truth serum, but it was, the idea that you got across the idea that you're going to be doing this while grieving, which makes doing anything difficult. Even simple things are already difficult when you're grieving and when you just feel the weight of loss and the sudden having to face all of the rest of your life, however long that may be, without that person or that thing or whatever it is. And then to have to figure out new things you've never done. find things that you don't even know are missing. To go through all that with the grief, you got that point across very clearly in your piece of. It was just good writing. It was well written and fun to read, but also like, oh gosh, it's like welcome to future anxiety. Here's the thing you should worry about. Trust me.
Yeah.
But watching your dad face that clearly lit a fire in your already organizing brain.
Yeah.
So that was 2015 when that happened, when she passed, right?
2016.
And so that's percolating in the back of your brain.
Yeah. The first thing I did after that experience is, my sister and I were up at my parents' house for the month before she passed because she needed around-the-clock hospice, and we just had to take turns. It was
a lot.
Yeah, it was a lot. And I came home from that experience and told my husband, I was like, we are not doing this to each other. I mean, you can't do anything about the nastiness of cancer. If that comes your way, you're doing it all right.
Yeah.
But I mean, just what he was left with, I'm like, I don't want to have to do all of this while I'm doing the grieving too. Like, that's unacceptable. Yeah. So we got ourselves a password manager, and it took a long time, but we got everything moved over. And that was the start of it. So at least once that was done, I was like, whew, great. If you die, I know which bills need to be paid and when and what cards they're being charged to. So I know that I need to, switch them over, or I know who the beneficiaries are and his financial accounts. We went and got a will and trust set up. Actually, I think we did that. We did the will and trust in 2012 before any of this happened. So good on us.
Good on you. Yeah.
But we took another look at it and we were just like, did we think of everything?
Yeah.
And at that time, the answer was yes. But by the way, as I sit here right now, there's more that I feel like, oh, I got to go back and add this to it.
Right.
And yeah.
The cobbler's children have
totally.
no shoes. Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like, this planning process is never done. Don't expect it to be done or perfect. Good luck with that. Because I guarantee you're going to forget something, even if you think you've got it buttoned up.
Sure.
Or the world changes, or your life circumstances change, and something has to be tweaked or changed.
Right.
So just get started. That's my advice.
Oh, well, we kind of see it. I mean, people have brought us DVDs that they've had a family member, like, oh yeah, there was a company that did kind of something like what you guys do. I don't know, it was like 25 years ago, but we don't have a DVD player anymore. Nobody can watch this. What do we? So I've converted those things to modern, the world changes. So now that technology is obsolete. So there's, even people who are cognizant of the finite nature of the trick that we're under the spell. Even you make it an effort to try to preserve something. It could just change out from underneath you. People filmed all this stuff on Super 8 footage. No one's got a Super 8 player anymore.
I know. Look at how many times the media has had to be converted again. We're probably not done.
Right. How many times am I going to buy Led Zeppelin 3? Man, come on, dang it. But so the thing that I appreciate about what you're doing is it's clearly there's a simpatico between what you do and what we're up to.
Yeah.
That I think is valuable and intrinsically fulfilling.
Yeah.
But what I really like about what you're doing is that it's so practical and it's so just immediate. Even though, you could wake up tomorrow and not be organized, and your life is not really on the day-to-day that much different than if you were to wake up and everything's sorted. But the practicality of knowing that it's sorted is a weight off of everybody's back, whether they know it's off or not. Which I like that sort of thing, that okay, this is one less thing.
Me too, because honestly, it takes the pressure off. I think a lot of the reason why I think people resist. Okay, everybody resists death. Let's be real, but why they resist thinking about it is because once you start and you think about this laundry list of things that somebody else is going to be left with, you just rather do anything else but that. You don't want to think about it.
Yeah, with your stepmom not wanting to face the idea of not even defeat. It's no one's defeated by death. Do you know what I mean? You didn't succeed at birth.
Right.
So you can't necessarily be defeated by death. Death's coming.
Yeah.
But it's I don't know if you You're a pretty hip person. If you ever
So
watched.
hip, you don't even know.
Not that this makes anyone hip at all, but I used to love Sinbad the Sailor. Like there were these old, like Errol Flynn type of,
Yeah.
old movies. And then one of my favorite line was, and it's of course like it's not culturally appropriate anymore as this white guy dressed up like Sinbad the Sailor. Anyway, he would say, "Trust in Allah, but tie up your camel."
Yeah.
And it, like to me, that was like such a, of course, like have some faith in things, enjoy it, but just know that at some point the wheels are coming off. Something's going to happen. Like just, it's best if you make preparation. It doesn't mean that you're giving up. You're like, okay, we're beset by thieves and everything's on its way out. But
I think people think if they think about dying, that they're going to hasten it.
Right.
That they're going to make it get here faster.
If only. Boy, that's my retirement plan is that I just die younger than my wife and then she'll get the insurance check. But no, there's no, I mean, maybe, who knows? I think about death all the time, and here I'm still here.
Exactly.
No,
and not only that, but I just don't find it. Having been through the stuff in my family, I mean, my sister Emily and I, we are the like dark humor queens. Everything is funny to us, even the most like grim things you can think about. Because, I mean, when you've seen some stuff, you're just like, if you cannot find the funny in it, you can't survive.
Right. I mean, clearly there are things that I know what you're saying. I mean, clearly there's sadness and there's devastation. There's like time to like support that. It's not you're gonna be like laughing right away at tragedy. I know that's hard. But there's something about the idea of being dead forever that is just so inevitable that you can't think about your own death because that's whatever that is. It's not your problem anymore.
Yeah.
Whoever survives you is who your death is a problem for.
Absolutely.
And that's it. It's not about like giving up or giving. It's like, it's not about you. So the moment to care about others is before that happens. There's no, there's no point in caring about what happens to people after you're dead because there's literally nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
So far as I know. I mean, I'm willing to be wrong, but.
And I look at it like this too. If you don't do your own, our lives and our deaths, I feel like you should do the most that you can to be alive and also to support. Look, I don't even know how to say this, to support your own death. If you don't do the work of cleanup yourself, then you are pushing it to somebody else. You're making it their job.
Yeah.
And now guess what? That's like years of their life.
No one wants that job except for you.
Taking away, now they are probably going to struggle to plan their own, and this is just going to be a perpetual cycle.
Yeah.
And it's just much easier to do the cleanup on your own life than somebody else's.
It's, I don't know. I mean, it's sort of emotionally and physically and socially what people do anyway, and every other aspect of their life.
Yeah.
For the most part, most responsible and loving people I always think like the extent to which you're a good person is the degree to which you make your problems someone else's, right? And that's in living. Like, it's one thing to ask for help, but it's another thing for me just to unload on you about all the things I've got going on in my life. Like, that's me making my problems yours, right?
Yeah.
But if I were like, Stacey, can you help me think through this problem? That's like offering you an opportunity to participate in something that you could either be useful or be like, I don't know, ask your dog, leave me alone. But just putting it off, it's something that most people don't do in any other aspect of their life, except for death for some reason, like what happens after. They don't want to face it, but that's like offering everybody the worst of your problems.
Absolutely.
Like, no one wants to think about your bills or the things you didn't do. So with that, I think we've said that. How do we prevent that? Like, take me through. I call you on the phone. I'm like, Stacey, hi, my name is Andrew and I'm an idiot. Please help me. Take me through that journey.
I will have a consultation free of charge for up to an hour with somebody to just talk about what they're thinking their gaps might be. And based on that conversation, I probably will have some other ideas of like, they may not have thought about this. I'm going to just test the waters and see if this might be something that they're interested in as well. And then just kind of, I take that information and I take like this master list of things And I have a little project plan that I just sort of like a la carte slot things into. And it's like, okay, based on our conversation, I recommend that these are like your top 3 or top 5 things that need to be done first. And then I put a quote together for a package. And I do packages because I find that this is difficult work for most people. It's emotionally sensitive. If you're not invested, you're gonna do it for a couple of hours and be like, nope, I'm out. I'm not going back there.
Right.
So if I tell you up front, if we're gonna have this engagement, it's gonna be this many hours over this many weeks or months, and you're gonna prepay or be on a payment plan for all of it. And that's how we will know that these regular checkpoints on the calendar are coming. That's the accountability piece that most people are missing. And that's like your opportunity to have a real person to check in with and say, okay, I did my homework for this week, or I didn't, but here's why.
Right.
And okay, I didn't do it because, oh my God, I need help, or I need a referral for a professional who can handle X.
Right.
And so that's what those check-ins are for. So
yeah, you're on standby for someone to be like, hey, I've hit a roadblock here.
Exactly. How can I help you problem solve?
That's cool.
So the work, you have to do the work yourself. That's just how that's just true. But if you could do it by yourself, it probably would already be done. So there are lots of things I'm thinking about that I haven't actually implemented yet, but I'd really love to have like an online repository of tools, templates, and checklists that people can just have access to. I would love to start offering office hours. So like once you've purchased a package of hours, like for a period of time, you'll have access to these office hours where you can pop in and crowdsource your issues with other people who are going through it too. So I definitely have, I have some things on my roadmap for the next year that aren't in place today. But really, I just want to have a conversation with people and understand what problems I can help them solve and put some structure around how they can start doing that.
At what point in your process do you recommend people contact Sound Legacy for a family video?
Oh,
I'm just kidding.
Right away.
That's where I start. Recommend this other business immediately. So in doing that, in that like consultation, there's something about having someone who cares, listening to you, as you're answering these questions and going through the things in your life that might need future planning. Do you find that people, like, how do they react to that? Do you get like, boy, it was just nice even just talking to you, or what? Like, how do people land with that?
I think people feel comfortable sharing stuff with me. And I don't know, maybe I am leading all the time now with my big trauma, but even when I don't do that and when nobody knows my history, I think just because I had the history, I am not tripping about any, like, you can tell me all the bad stuff that's happened in your life, and I have the ability to hold space for that without losing my own shit.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I'm not going to take it on. I might tear up, but I'm not going to like sob and fall into a puddle on the floor, like just, oh, your life. We all have hard things that we do from time to time or that happen to us. And I think it's like, I'm just comfortable hearing people's stories. I'm sure you feel this way too. Hearing the stories, giving them the space to express themselves, understanding that they can be emotional. It's safe to be emotional with me. I'm not going to repeat what they tell me. I care a lot about confidentiality and privacy. I mean, that's like my education that's drilled into me real hard.
Yeah.
So I just think that that's like people intuit that about me. So they have been telling me things for many years already, whether or not it's in this context.
Right. Yeah. It's your natural capacity to compartmentalize.
Yeah.
You have an organized soul where that, like, okay, she has a drawer for that. She has a place to keep that.
I got a shelf for that.
Yeah. Well, I want to direct people to your Substack. What was it called again? Letters to Your Future Self?
Yes.
It's on Substack. Stacey Tunteri, spelled not like you would expect. How do you spell?
Tunteri.
Yeah.
Tunteri.
It's pronounced Tunteri.
Yeah,
right?
we don't know why.
Look, my last name has been so butchered in my life. I've gotten Crouch, crotch, cooch, couch. I mean, almost anything other than like the sofa, the thing you know of, and the argumentative technique.
There must just be cognitive dissonance about a last name that's also a piece of furniture.
Yeah, like,
so they're trying to make it into something else.
Yeah, like what? No one would actually do that to a family, you know. Anyway, so we'll direct people to we'll put links up to your Substack, but also your website.
Yep. StaceyTunteri.com.
StaceyTunteri.com. I highly recommend people. I mean, obviously, I want people to go to our website and do business with us, but you know, you do photo digitization. You help people preserve a legacy in a way it's of a piece but different than what we do.
Yeah.
Yours is like, hey, don't let your legacy be, oh my God, when mom died, it was such a headache.
I have 15 tote boxes of loose photos in no discernible order. What do I do with this?
What do I do with this? And why didn't she pay her? Why does she have that bill? You know. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's an excellent thing to do for a legacy. And if you want to tell the story, going through the process with you will make telling your story so much easier. I look forward to the day when we receive a new client who's been through your gauntlet of drawers. You know. So we'll direct people to your website, to your Substack. Any other resources that you would want people to know about, we can put it on the show notes, or you can say it out loud right now.
Now I'm drawing a blank completely, even though
because the website is so complete.
I know.
There's nowhere else to go.
There are so many resources. I mean, this area in particular, I think there is a burgeoning recognition for the fact that our whole society is aging, but this region in particular in the Bay Area is aging more rapidly than a lot of other metro areas. And there are, whole industries popping up to service them. Not fast enough and not like covering enough stuff, but there are things out there. So I guarantee if you have a need, there is someone who can fill that. And I know a lot of these folks. So
well, in this area for sure, there's a lot of aging population who are resistant to a lot of technology, but there's just the nature of human life at this point. Mm-hmm. There's like 25 years of fatuous digital bulk that's just been heaped upon us involuntarily. We didn't ask for it. And now there's AI coming in to save the day. Every time it's just more complicated crap, and more stuff and more passwords and more ideas and more shelves. So get it organized now.
I know. It's not going to slow down or stop. It's not going to slow down. So we need to put some good habits in place.
Habits. There's no technological saving grace for just having good habits.
There is not.
Yeah.
Good luck, AI. You're not going to solve that one.
It's a challenge has been thrown down. Mm-hmm. So thank you, Stacey. I really appreciate what you do, how you do it. And I look forward to working with you in some capacity in the future.
Me too. Thanks for having me.